In 2023, with inflation strangling our budget and house prices skyrocketing, my wife Julia and I were nearly out of options. We had saved every dime for years, hoping to finally give our 7-year-old son, Aiden, a place with a backyard, maybe even a dog. Months passed, and every showing ended in heartbreak. Either we were outbid, or the price was a joke. Then one morning, I got a strange email from a private seller. No realtor, no listing site. Just a subject line that read, "Large home near Cindervale Village, priced to move fast." It was a 3-bedroom Victorian-style home nestled just on the edge of a nearly forgotten rural village. Pictures showed wide porches, tall windows, and hardwood floors. The asking price? Less than half of the surrounding homes. I contacted the seller immediately. The warning. The day we visited the property, something felt off. The sun was high, but the house cast long shadows across the unkempt yard. An older woman watering her plants next door waved us over. She was pale, like she hadn't slept in days. "You thinking of moving in?" she asked. I nodded. Her eyes dropped. "That house makes noise at night. Things move in the attic. You hear voices sometimes, calling from the rooms. Just be careful." Julia and I exchanged glances. I smiled politely, trying to shake off the chill running up my spine. Later, I called the owner, a man named Martin. I asked him about the history, and he laughed. "You really believe in all that ghost crap?" he scoffed. "It's the 21st century, for God's sake." He explained he had inherited the home from his late aunt. She died a decade ago, and the property had sat empty since. Against our better judgment, we bought the house. The first voice. The first month was quiet. The house creaked like any old place would. Julia painted Aiden's room, I set up the tool shed. Life felt good. Then, one rainy Thursday afternoon, Julia called out from the living room. "Aiden, can you grab me the scissors from the kitchen?" A few seconds later, she heard a voice call back, "Okay, Mom." But when she turned around, Aiden was asleep on the couch. She told herself it was just in her head. Until it happened again. The old man. Julia started to feel like she was being watched. Shadows flicked across doorways. The upstairs bathroom light turned on at 3 a.m., more than once. Footsteps echoed when none of us were walking. Then one evening, she found Aiden sitting cross-legged on the hallway floor, giggling softly. She crouched beside him. "Who are you talking to, sweetheart?" He smiled. "The old man." Julia's heart sank. "What old man?" "He lives in the wall. He tells funny stories." When she told me, I dismissed it. "He's just using his imagination." But Julia looked at me with wide, unsettled eyes. "He said the man was watching us before we even moved in." The third incident broke Julia. She was in the laundry room when she called out, "Aiden, can you bring me your school shoes?" A voice from the hallway responded, "Yes, Mom." But it didn't sound quite right. Too deep. Too slow. She sprinted up the stairs. Aiden was playing in his room, humming to himself. "I wasn't calling you, Mommy," he said without turning around. He was. That night, Julia told me we had to leave. I told her she was letting local ghost stories get to her. I regret that more than anything. A few days later, I stayed home from work. Julia took the car to the market. It was just Aiden and me. I called out from the living room, "Aiden, want to play a board game?" "Sure, Daddy," came the reply. But it wasn't Aiden's voice. It was deeper. Slower. Hollow. I stood there frozen, gripping the coffee table until my knuckles turned white. Aiden peeked around the corner. "Were you talking to me?" I packed a bag in less than 10 minutes. We drove straight to St. Bridget's, the nearest church. Father Callahan, a man in his 60s with gentle eyes, listened patiently. He didn't flinch at a word of it. "I've heard of the Cindervale house," he said. "But no one's lived there long enough to confirm the stories." We begged him to come with us. He agreed. The moment he stepped into the living room, his expression darkened. "This place remembers pain," he said. He walked to the hallway where Aiden often spoke to the wall and placed his hand against it. "The soul here isn't evil," he whispered. "It's guarding something." We sat in the kitchen while Father Callahan spoke to the spirit. I couldn't hear the words, but I heard the silence afterward. When he returned, his face was pale. "There are two spirits here," he said. "One is watching. The other is waiting." He told us the house had once belonged to a girl named Annabelle Fay in the 1920s. She was beautiful, bright, and kind, but she had an admirer she constantly rejected. His name was Ellis Granger. When she got engaged to a local banker and planned to leave Cindervale, Ellis lost control. He planned to kill her and then himself, hoping their souls would be bound forever. But there was another man, Nathaniel Harrow, a quiet farmhand who loved Annabelle from afar. He followed Ellis the night of the planned murder. He reached the house just as Ellis attacked. In the chaos, Nathaniel hit Ellis with a fire poker to stop him, and Ellis shot Nathaniel in the chest. Both men died. Annabelle fled the village weeks later and lived a long, quiet life. But the house never forgot. Julia asked the question before I could. "Why is this happening now?" Father Callahan hesitated. "Your son's name, Aiden, was also Nathaniel Harrow's middle name. And his birth date? May 3rd. That was Nathaniel's too." My hands trembled. "He's drawn to your son because he sees a chance to protect again. But Ella's spirit is still here too. And he wants out." Julia looked like she might faint. Father Callahan returned 2 nights later with sacred tools and began a cleansing. The house resisted. Lights flickered. Doors slammed. A low growl echoed through the halls. Aiden screamed from upstairs. We rushed up to find him floating a few inches above the ground, eyes rolled back, his mouth whispering Ellis's name. "Get out!" Father Callahan shouted, pressing his crucifix against the boy's chest. There was a blast of cold wind. The air went still. And then, silence. Aiden blinked, gasped, and clung to Julia. The house felt different. Warmer. We moved out a month later. Father Callahan confirmed that the spirit of Nathaniel had held Ellis back for nearly a century, protecting the house from his revenge. Now that Annabelle had died peacefully in a nursing home just months before, Nathaniel's purpose was fulfilled. And Ellis? Without Nathaniel to hold him back, he had vanished, or followed Annabelle into the void, unable to hurt anyone again. We sold the house to the county. It stands vacant now, overgrown with weeds. But sometimes I wonder if someone will come back, looking for a deal, and if the house will start talking again.